All right, welcome to Humpdays.
Welcome back, Humpers. We have an exciting guest for you today.
Canadian legend, Jason Rouse.
Yeah.
Exciting and legend all in the same breath.
An icon.
An icon.
Barely.
Oh,
More of
Canada.
a pain in the ass of Canadian show business, I would say, more than anything. Yeah.
Well, no, you're one of my favorite, like your Comedy Now special. Like I've told you multiple times that your Comedy Now special is like one of the best specials to come out of Canada. It was just like, it was cool seeing that because it's like, oh yeah, that's awesome. That's like, that's not cookie cutter stuff. Like that's a lot of fun, but like it's still towing the line.
I definitely, there was so many hurdles and checkpoints that I had to go through to even get that conversation in play. First and foremost, I've only been doing comedy at that point maybe about 2.5 years.
Oh, no way.
And I think on my 4th year, we signed a deal to do this hour, which I was really just pressing. With 4 years of experience, a 30-minute special would have been diplomatically fine. But they put the pressure on me as we need 47 minutes of television material. And I'm going through taking stock of everything. As soon as I got the agreement, I really had to assess everything that I had because it was going to be polarized by being recorded on television.
Right.
So doing that show, I really had to do it right. So I spent months and months and months. And there was a lot of behind the scenes shit that happened. In fact, there was, because you do 2 shows, you tape twice on one night.
Yeah.
Well, the person who had been filming the week before had failed so poorly on their show that they had put them on my show and had the audience have to stick it out for another 30 minutes. Well, that 30 minutes of retakes of the same shit that bombed the night before disheveled the audience completely. In fact, when they took a break to start the second taping, the audience got up to leave.
Jesus.
So I'm there backstage, and all the executives are making discussion whether or not we're going to continue on with this taping because the audiences leave. They've had enough. The first part of the show was brutal. And then when they brought in the people to pick up the sketch stuff, they had enough. And I was the closer.
Wait, so you were after sketch comedy?
Yeah.
So bizarre.
So you had Kenny
Doing
Banya
Spice
open up.
Girls.
You had Kenny Banya open up. You had Kenny Banya open up, and then sketch comedy. And then like this is your moment, kid.
And not only that, my warm-up act was Russell Peters. So
Okay.
it didn't happen. Russell was there, and I requested him. He had already moved on, and a friend of mine was doing warm-ups for that network for all the specials. But I knew Russell was in town, and I really like it if he could be there. And it turned out that there wasn't enough time. In fact, I had to get in a standoff with them requesting that we record tonight, that I wasn't coming back to reschedule this. I had people who come in all over. I knew that I had to generate an audience.
Yeah.
At least 20% of the people that were there, because I knew free ticket comedy people seeing what I was going to do and try and work within the script of what I prepared for that night. I know this has nothing to do with what you brought up earlier, but I'm rambling.
No, it's good.
So the audience was leaving. I demanded to continue. They said, well, we have to change the tapes before you can go on. I said, I'll just improvise. You give me a thumbs up off camera and I'll go into my act and we'll get that set. So I've been so amped up that the majority of what you saw was the entire second show, which was anxiety fueled, kind of like, this is my moment. I need to really focus and be the best person I can be in this situation. So in turn, it left me with a standing ovation and a Gemini Award, which helped me get to here.
Well, that's awesome.
I appreciate you liking that because
Well, it's crazy
you didn't
'cause
have a choice. They play the shit out of it like 20 times a year for years.
Yeah.
You were
And
waterboarded
it holds
with
up. It holds up. It still holds up.
I think it was cool. Thank you. I did put a lot of time
And
into
it looks like you like burned 1,000 calories doing it. Like it's like for you to say that you're anxiety ridden and already just did like a show before that.
Totally. I decided to repackage that into physicality and go, look at all the physical aspects of my show. I'm going to fill the stage up with as much as performance as I can. It was all very structured. And in fact, in between tapings, Mark Breslin goes, they want to talk to you. And I go, who? And he goes, all of them. And I literally went into the green room and there was like 12 people all lined up with their arms crossed, saying, and they said they have a problem with some of the material they saw the first time. And I'm like, what? And I really was having everything on the cigar joke about me blowing my dad. And I knew that was going to be my fucking joke, that the very Jason Rouse misdirection horror joke that people would tell their friends. And I was pleading in my head, please don't take that joke. Please don't take me sucking my dad's cock joke. Please don't take that. And they described that there was a problem with some of the material. And then I go, what joke? And they'd literally picked a joke that I was trying to get out of the set, but I needed to fill the time. So, and it was an old joke. In fact, it was probably within the first 5 minutes of material I'd had that survived in some form or another, just because it was a very reactionary bit. But I laughed and I said, don't worry. It's not like I'm doing long form stories. I knew that Canadian editors were going to butcher it anyway.
Yeah.
I knew that it was all about the show and it had nothing to do with my performance. So I made sure that each joke, in fact, could be moved around and still not lose any of it. If they snipped the punchline off or any of the setup, the whole thing would fall apart. Fortunately, they allowed all the material made the cut, and they the only thing they cut out was the joke about me having my balls hanging out of my shorts on the bus, and people going, "Is that gum?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's Hubba Bulba, which is a Canadian gum."
Hubba Bubba. It's good
Yeah.
Do you
stuff.
think that that's like the strategy to get through with good comedy through the Canadian system is just to put like one plant, like a
Bait and
fake,
switch, yeah.
yeah, like plant like a over the top,
For
joke,
sure,
and then they
for
cut that
sure.
one, and you have like a navigating chip.
Exactly. If there's anything, because they've all got to make their jobs relevant, so they have to chime in no matter what.
That's a good point.
And if their chime is criticisms or any kind of like editing and stuff, regardless, it's all very selfish on their part. Fuck, I lost my train of thought again.
Bait and switch.
Bait and switch, yeah. So yeah, I did keep a lot of the aggressive stuff in there, which in turn got to stay, which I thought me blowing my dad for the cigar thing was going to be
like
cut.
definitely the one
That
that
was
you
one
were
of the
worried
baits. But I was trying to get it in. I padded it out with some stuff that was a little more accessible, and then just kind of did this.
Look at all that strategizing
Yeah.
just
Oh.
to get it in.
In fact, I had a 60-page or 52-page script because I was in Humber at the time on a comedy writing and performing, and I was failing miserably in my screenplay and sitcom class. But what I did learn from it was taking all the scraps of papers and Word documents and various things that I'd had, Post-it notes and all the scraps of paper. I was able to put that all into final draft and meticulously go through every single word and line. And in fact, the physicality and that performance that you saw at the Comedy Now, I learned to figure out, if I write this as a movie, I can incorporate the actions, the tie and the breaks in this. I can actually make this into a 3-act movie which is entirely made up of stand-up, and that I can isolate and say Jason Rouse says wacky swaying arms, or if I was doing voices or it was situational comedy, I could write Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton says this and blah blah blah, and we all formatted it. So I had I knew exactly that each page was 1 minute. So I had a contract more or less between them and me without them knowing it, because everything that was said on that stage was written in that script that I had written.
And this is how organized and meticulous you are 4.5 years in?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had to, though. I really put all my eggs in one basket. So
Was
What do you mean by that?
that I knew that the only way that I was going to learn and develop was getting in over my head and putting myself in situations where I have to learn how to write sitcoms and screenplays. Even though I didn't excel, I wasn't submitting screenplays, but it did help my stand up. So as long as I could build bridges of skills and things like that would complement my stand up, I was all ears.
Yeah. That's very true that you have to keep pushing yourself into very like uncomfortable new situations to grow enough skill sets.
Yeah, look
to
at
really make
if
it.
there's anything that's really, if you really want to do stand up, does Facebook really have you have to push yourself
Yeah.
just to open that up.
Yeah.
You go, what am I getting in here? I just want to tell some jokes and maybe post some fun stuff, but now I'm in this soup of shit and there's no way around it. Like, I don't even know how you
media.
promote shows without a Facebook profile and an email address.
Eventbrite and
Yeah.
physical stuff and
And it goes
this
on and on and
that.
on.
Yeah.
Now I got to figure out how to set up an app that works with, was it Everbright? Sorry. Eventbrite.
Yeah.
That's going to put out, to let me see the algorithm on who's opening the invites and who's not. It's just layers and layers. I didn't expect to
It's very entrepreneurial to
Yeah.
do this. Like people don't realize how kind of entrepreneurial it is. You have to really be all in one, marketer, everything.
all of it. And this is the thing, people complain about Hollywood so much. Well, it's gone. So you're it now.
Yeah, you're it.
You're standing, your shoes are show business.
Yeah.
So wherever you are, you've got to apply everything that you can to do it.
Alfie wanted to be a comedian, but now he had to like build this, like this entire
Yeah.
set.
I didn't want to talk
And
to
we had
strangers.
and I have to
I like
design
going out-
thumbnails all day.
Yeah,
You know what I
totally.
mean?
It's a whole thing. You know, it was kind of a dream, when you're a kid, I could have a pirate radio station. Well, everybody has a fucking pirate radio
Yeah, that's
station.
true.
Yeah.
You have Tim Hortons cups?
We got
Well,
I
Buc-ee's.
wish,
Oh, I
but
thought it was Tim
more
Hortons.
Texas.
Same colors, by the way.
Do you think that your special would be approved today by CBC?
I don't know
Yeah,
what.
because you're coming out with one on April 4th, right?
It was supposed to be coming out April 4th. That's a whole
exciting.
nother thing. I have 2 specials coming out this year. When? I'm not sure.
What platform will it be out on?
It's called LOL Comedy.
Okay.
It's as far as I know, Russell Peters' new special is coming out on it.
Oh, cool.
Nice. Okay.
And
Something new.
then one I'd filmed in Denmark a number of years ago. I'm going to try and get away with it on YouTube. I'll probably have to put it on OnlyFans just to have it so it's uncensored, or people can watch it for free on YouTube, but they can purchase it for a small fee on some sort of
Nice.
pay site or something like that. But
That'll be
I want to
exciting.
do another one in October, but I'm not sure yet. We'll see how this year pans out. I got to travel a little bit, and
Yeah, you got a new lady in your life.
Yeah, you mentioned
do.
Denmark. I love this story about how you guys met.
Yeah,
Do
you were
actually-
telling us
That's like one of the
when you met Christina.
Yeah, Christina, lovely woman. Shout out, Christina.
I can't remember. I can't even
She's
talk
like
about that.
perfect because she was like, she comes in the room, she's like, just like in your, like you have an aesthetic. Look at
Oh,
these
for sure.
rings. Look at them. They're so good. You have such nice jewelry all the time. And then she's just like also this like punk rocker hot chick. And I'm like, that's so cool. You guys match.
Yeah,
It's cool.
yeah, you guys are a cool looking couple. It was awesome.
It's weird. It's weird for me.
Yeah.
I don't
Scary.
care about too many things, but she is definitely a doll. Yeah, no.
The story
It's
of
not
how
hard to, yeah. I'm suspicious just of anybody who likes my material.
That's so fair.
I got questions. I'm like, what part of that do you like? Or but Scandinavian, European people in general don't have the same hang-ups that North Americans do. So,
Right.
and a large part of my life is doing comedy. So if that's an issue of that, of what I say, which is, I've had ex-girlfriends lose their jobs over.
No.
In fact, that Comedy Now special you'd seen, my long-term girlfriend, who was an executive assistant at a large mining company in Toronto, and she'd worked with this guy for ages, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. She'd been employed at this company. It came out later that clearly he had a crush on her, and why he was part of the reason he was employing her. But she ran into a coworker, and he had, "Are you still dating that comedian guy?" She's like, "Oh no, we've parted. It's been a number of years, blah blah blah, but we still talk." She goes, "Well, that's why Peter fired you." She's like, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, he knew your boyfriend's name and saw your Comedy Now special, and literally freaked out." And that's why. And she goes, "My boss has been really mean to me just in the last." I go, "Well, I've been on TV 3 times this week. If he hates me, he's really pissed now." So, and just people, I had to tell them, I go, "Honey, like, if you go in the bathroom, the girls are going to be mean to you if they know you're with me. It happens all the time. I've had a girlfriend crying, 'What happened? The girls in the bathroom said that you were this and that.' And I go, 'Well, those chicks are fat. They're going to say whatever they can to make themselves feel better. They have barbecue sauce on their coveralls. They're not fans.'" Yes, and if you don't believe me, I'll take a screenshot, show you all my social media algorithms are 98% males.
That's a good demo to have. They always say like you can judge like a good comedian by how many male fans he has.
Oh, really? Fuck, I prefer it like
Well, you want to like
70-30.
70-30, but it's just like if
I
you
like
have a
the
lot of guys coming to
70-30.
your show, I mean it's like
Yeah,
because
but
it's hard to get guys out to comedy shows. Like girls just want to go
they're
and do
drug
something.
addicts. That's why they're coming to my show. They're like, "This
Are you
guy
giving them
understands me." Yeah, it's all fucking criminals. They're always criminals. The police do come occasionally.
Welcome to Humpdays, criminals.
Yeah, good old hump day.
Subscribe.
Yeah, I don't think they're regular comedy fans per se. They're just a lot of people that are just like they're tired of beating their wives, so they come out.
Well, that's a nice thing you do for their wives.
It's like it looks stupid when I'm only have a black eye on one side.
Jason says I should throw in some body shots.
No, but it's definitely a different audience for sure.
But you have to tell us the story about, or if you're comfortable with it, the story of how you met. That was hilarious.
Oh, she was out with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
No, I've broken up a lot of relationships, directly and indirectly, but
He's like the Ariana Grande of the comedy world.
right?
Jason Rouse, the homewrecker.
I get that all the time. Not necessarily. I've had couples break up during the shows, but is that bad?
How do they break up during the show?
It's crazy. It's happened a bunch of times where guys he's dating a new girl, come out, you got to see this guy, he's crazy. She's like, "Oh, it's going to be fun." And then she sits down in the front, and then she becomes, because she thinks that what she was told is what she's not getting. So then now she wants to create a fuss and draw the attention of the audience, of the performer to her because she feels unjust in some way. And then I destroy her, and the boyfriend realizes she's a cunt. She can leave. But I've seen that a bunch of times where one or the other. It's usually the girl's drunk, and it wasn't going to last anyway. So
Well, I mean, sense of humor is a deal breaker. You can't
Yeah, for
survive
sure.
life if you're not able to laugh at the same things. Like, that's a huge one. Yeah.
and that has been, I think on 2 different occasions. One of them I'd brought date a girl I've been dating to a Doug Stanhope show, and the other one was Patrice O'Neill. And on 2 different occasions, those 2 guys triggered these bitches, and they turned in. And in that moment, I'm like,
That was your ick.
I couldn't back out of that. I'm like, we're never gonna find this. This isn't even up for discussion. This is how aggravated you are, you fucking dumb twat. He's for the people.
Yeah, they're both comics.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I can't.
But it made me laugh. I was completely, my emotional attachment to that person had dissipated to a level where your complaining and crying was comedic. You're like one of the people I make fun of at the shows now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
just
yeah,
have sex
yeah.
with them a couple more times and then break up with them.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. What's wrong with him? Awkward. 2 more times and then get out of there?
You gotta make sure, Jason.
Wild. Wild. I couldn't do that.
So you just broke up on the spot. So it's like, how did that happen? So was it just after the show? You're like, okay, that's it? Take
Yeah,
separate
well,
rides
in my
home?
head, I started planning my escape. Like, how am I going to back out of this situation with minimal damage? Going, you're a fucking cunt, fuck you, you don't know what you're talking about, is one way to do it. But stare at them while they sleep is another way of doing it.
You have to break up with you.
I think because people pick up on stuff like that, and I think she knew that I had sided on the side of comedy, which was more or less another woman. So then immediately became very volatile and argumentative and all those things where you the ick thing. It just starts to get compounded of icks, and then you just got diarrhea where you just, their breathing is annoying.
Yeah, you just can't stand them.
Can't stand them. They just look, no matter how attractive or what you thought, it's all just smells like piss. Yeah.
It's no longer a quirk. It's like a bad habit. It's like, I just can't.
Yeah.
stand
Now you're self-abusing by sharing a space with this twisted cunt who doesn't know how to have a fucking good time.
Can't laugh at
It's a
Patrice O'Neill.
comedy show. Lighten
Yeah.
up. And if I'm buying a ticket to a comedy show, it's a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good show. With the exception, I did pay for Bill Cosby tickets.
Was it good?
No, I walked out, actually.
Oh my God.
I just stood in the front row with my mouth open. He couldn't even get hard.
What an asshole.
Fucking John Ritter over here. Three's Company. It was a big show in the 70s.
Is he really on tour again?
John Ritter?
Or Bill Cosby?
No, he's not.
Tim
is he out?
Dillon's opening for him. That would be great, though. That would be great.
What about Tony Hinchcliffe?
I think Tim Dillon opening for Bill Cosby is a great idea. He's the only one who could do it. I
Yeah,
think.
it'd be like Shane Gillis bringing back Bud Light. It'd be like, that's what Tim Dillon could do for Bill Cosby.
Yeah, except if you're on the tour with Bill Cosby and you're already a famous comedian with another famous comedian who's famous for assaulting women, people really appreciate him.
Yeah. Yeah. You look really good in comparison.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
And he's not a threat because he's gay.
I think you should open up Bill
Yeah.
Cosby.
Oh, no. I don't want to get them booing before he comes out.
Right? You're gonna rile up more than Cosby.
Yeah, they're like, bring back Bill. This guy's killing us.
Didn't someone also try to arrest you once at a show that you did?
Vancouver.
Vancouver.
Yeah, well, the police did come. I don't know if you remember Vancouver Yuck Yucks. Was it
Yep.
what's
It was
the
on Canby
hospital
Street.
next door?
Yeah.
The Canby Hospital.
Yeah.
Canby Hospital?
No,
Unless it
No.
switched locations, but there was one.
Oh no, you were at the old one. So the
Yeah, yeah,
old
it
one,
switched
old Yuck
locations.
Yucks was it turned to the Comedy Mix, but now it was Burrard. It was the Burrard Hospital.
That's right.
St. Paul's Hospital. Yeah.
St. Paul's Hospital. I knew it was a saint. It was there, and it was great because you'd stay in the hotel, and the club was in the basement. And Vancouver being a place where I started, even before I was in comedy clubs, because I'd moved out to Vancouver in 1993 to kind of start from scratch.
Yeah.
Really, everything but change my name. And the plan was one or two things: get into stand-up comedy or front a musical group. in some form or another. I didn't know if I was going to pick up an instrument or whatever, but I knew being in the quote job force was not going to fly. I had all these jobs. I was miserable. The city was eating me alive. And when I moved out to Vancouver, I was terrified to go into a comedy club. I don't think I had ever stepped into a comedy club until I started doing I don't know. I think I caught an amateur night in Hamilton before I moved out to Vancouver, and the only point of reference I had for comedy was my friends, but they were all either like street kids or musicians, skateboarders, and BMX kids, just typical Canadian rejects in all fronts. So my audience was these type of people, and I knew that taking that to a traditional stand-up comedy club, it wasn't going to fly. It was more sideshow than stand-up comedy. So I had to work out the bugs in opening for various bands in Vancouver at after-hours clubs.
Yeah.
And I used to come out with a hospital gown on, covered in blood with vice grips on my cock. There's video of that somewhere. And yeah, a hospital gown open with blood and a clamped wrench on my cock. And I put matches in it and walk through the crowd and sing happy birthday to people and try and get them to blow the matches before I burn down. All kinds of stuff. And
The best opening line I've ever heard.
that's why my stand-up special, I don't know if it's in that comedy now, but at the end I did pull a condom through my nose and out my mouth. I don't know if that's in the actual final cut.
I don't know if I've ever
they-
seen that.
That was something I'd do. I'd say I'd find condoms. You guys ever find condoms on the ground? You know, you can just wash these things off. And then I'd put them through my nose. I'll pull it out my mouth and then flick it. In fact, it landed on a lady's shoulder once, and it was just a nice lady. And now she's got this bile-soaked condom that I've been using show after show. I think it had nicotine stains on it.
You used the same condom?
Yeah. I'm from Hamilton. I still pick cigarette butts off the ground. Like, I'm like, I gotta, I can dine and stay in a 5-star restaurant, but I will look in the garbage.
I just think that a freshly
I'm a
lubed one would
garbage.
help.
Like my whole life is just like Rust Belt. If you've ever seen the movie Gummo, it's like that. Have you seen Gummo?
No.
Oh my god.
Have you seen it?
I've been trying to. I want to see it.
Watch it.
I will.
It's terrifyingly
It's so
disturbing.
cool.
It's
I
so
thought
fucked up.
Is
Guy-
that why you got arrested and
No,
or
the-
got
oh,
attempted
sorry.
arrest?
Oh my god. Yeah, we were.
We'll go
Well,
back
no,
to
but I was wondering if it's the condom. The condom.
No, that
ring.
didn't do it.
If that didn't do it, what else could it have been?
In fact, I
I'm
was
scared.
told, probably about maybe about 15 years ago was when I had to stop touching people. I was told because I laid across. There was all these police officers, 2 dudes and 1 woman. She was a small police officer lady, and 2 old slubs, big guys. And I came out naked and laid over their legs with my cock out. The microphone said, "You can't do anything because I'm an artist."
You should. Oh my god. You're amazing.
And Mark Breslin says, "Yeah, they can do something. You can't touch people naked. We're serving food. We're going to lose our license. You can't touch people." And I'm like, I didn't know. I didn't know.
I'm a
Yeah.
performance artist.
I'm an artist.
I'm an artist.
But yeah, the police had contacted them and says, "Hey, look, that's all. Like, we get it, but you can't have a guy with his dick out near the onion rings."
Well, nowadays.
So they let you off with a warning.
Yeah.
No, that was a different.
How many cops have shown up to these?
They didn't get arrested for that, though. That was just a warning. That was just like, hey,
The last one.
that was a nice closer, but like, you get.
I'm not even exaggerating. There must have been close to 20 police officers form a line from the front door all the way up the stairs into the comedy club. I had to bite my lip.
That was this is the old Yucks on Broad?
No. This is the Yuck Yucks in Calgary about 8 months ago.
Oh, the casino. Okay, the casino. Okay.
Yeah. So, in the casino, they have face scans at all these kind of gambling establishments or what have you. So, the gang squad showed up before my show started, and they came to kick out some friends of mine, and I had to bite my lip because I was going to make a bad situation worse by saying, I don't know where you guys think you are tonight, but the strip club's down the street. We didn't order any table dancers tonight. Various things to create a kerfuffle, but yeah. And then the Vancouver one was because a young lady had stood up during the show and protested, and the audience laughed at her and booed her out of the club. And she called the police.
What was her reasoning?
It was great because the police officer quoted my joke back to me. He got it pretty close, but he didn't do the funny part. He just said, "Did you say you were going to fuck her with a knife to her throat because it reminded her of her father?" And I said, "Yeah, but you didn't do the funny part." And I said, "Listen," because the club was attached to the hotel. So I explained to him, I go, "Come with me," because he called my room twice, and I hung up thinking it was a friend fucking around. And then the hotel manager says, "Jason," because I had a good rapport with the staff there. I'd see them, a couple of times a year. And they said, "Mr. Rouse, there's a police officer here that would like to talk to you. He wants to know what happened last night." And in my head, I'm like, I'm covered. There was multiple warning signs, and I had the whole show on tape, on videotape.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
she can say whatever we want. And I explained to them that there's literally all the way down in the stairs in the club, every 2 feet was a sign. Warning, nudity, coarse language. They covered all of it.
Yeah.
My friends would call to book tickets, and they were literally being talked out of purchasing the tickets. Like, "You seem like nice people. Is this really what you want to do?" You know what I mean? It was wild. My friend was like, I was arguing with her. I'm like, "I want the tickets. I know. That's where we're going."
I'd like to purchase.
It's so wild. It's not even that bad.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
And
It's
she
hilarious.
just was upset because she protested. Or not her. That was not this one. The Vancouver one?
The lady, that was
She
the
was
lady, yeah. She filed a police report, and he had to go and make sure that he had talked to me. He has to go in his report that there was some
Conversation.
sort of, conversation. And I showed him. I showed him the warnings. I said, "I have everything on tape. You're welcome to come here." Mm-hmm. My audience in this part of the country is very aggressive, and they're anticipating these kind of outbursts from people who don't know.
Yeah.
I go, the first time you come and watch, you'll see the show. The second time you come, you watch the audience. And the third time you come back, you're a fucking weirdo. Who needs that 3 times in their life?
And this is why the special's on OnlyFans.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not, I don't think I curse so much. It's just the way I formulate sentences and words. It's just so grotesque. Because
It's just words, and people are literally arresting you. It's hilarious.
It's wild. My whole point in
Thanks,
this
Trudeau.
upcoming tour is I'd like to get into a jail situation for at least maybe something less than a year in Canada.
Yeah.
I'm starting to beat up pregnant women at the shows. I come out with...
He is not.
No, but when you say that, then people will react to it. And I'm just trying to get people to come out to the show.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hit pregnant women, but I will. I've had a couple women have miscarriages and their waters break. So I'm just doing my part to recycle.
That's how hard they're laughing. It's just so hard. So laugh so hard it hurts.
I give them Arby's roast beef coupons on the way out.
Come on, dude.
If your water break, you get a free horsey sauce sandwich.
That's so sweet.
Well, I want to bring up, like, you have one of the best pranks of all time, and I've heard other comics.
Prank?
Yeah, like, I haven't heard
My whole
firsthand-
life
You're
is a
famous
prank.
for.
Well, it was at a party. I've heard 2 different comics say it. One on a podcast. Giannis Papas talked about it. You guys, you know Giannis, but it's like you're at a house party.
My house.
It was at your house.
Yeah,
so
I
set
would
the stage.
do that.
So just like, could you tell that story? That's one of my favorite pranks of all time.
Well, it was like, I think
So the premise is like you laid that you're
I
having a
put
party.
newspaper down in the kitchen. There was a whole production going on. I go, hey man, I'm having people over tonight. You guys come over, and I turn off the lights in the kitchen, and I put newspaper down, and I have a dump as big as I could pile it. Sometimes, and if you could do it 2 times, it looks more realistic, right? If there's just one pile of shit, it's like, oh, Rouse.
Christ.
If there's 3 or 4 dumps, and the newspaper's kind of disheveled, no urine. I'm not a weirdo. And I would shit all over the kitchen floor where people would flick on the light. Whoa! Hey, man, your dog's really been at it.
Oh my
Is he
God.
sick? And it was just me with 12 piles of shit in the kitchen.
Were you sick? Were you
No.
sick?
So you had people over partying. Oh, Jason's like, oh, he's got a dog. Cool. When, like, is
Well,
it just put away?
They go, where's the beer? Kitchen. But you got the lights on the right, and they'd, whoa! Especially if the door was closed. And you leave the oven on low. So they walk in. Yeah, and people would go, where's your dog? And I'm like, dog? There's no dog. This apartment's way too small for a dog.
They're like cat.
Yeah, a cat? No, that's way too big for a cat. Your cat.
Anything.
And people don't want to leave because they want to be rude, so they're just drinking with your shit all over the place.
Because then my
anyone
friends
step in
would
it?
argue with their girlfriends about whether or not it was authentically human or dog. They're going, no, that's his dog. It's not. He's not. It's him. He does it all the time. Yeah. They just couldn't grasp the idea that I had done that in my own home.
I'm pretty sure that made it on.
But it rolls up nice and
Yeah, you laid some paper down.
yeah. I can't believe people fucked me. To be honest with you, I meet girls off the back. Oh, he's so weird. It's silly. Ugh. And then she's got a piece of shit in a condom in the freezer waiting for you to prep for her. You guys ever use a shildo?
A shildo?
You never use a shildo on hump day?
No, but we should
No.
probably put one up. That's like that's we should get a shildo in here.
You got a lava lamp? I can make one right now. A shildo. Shildo we go. Hi ho the shildo.
No, but you have a movie coming up.
Yeah,
where,
you're gonna wear. you
Yeah, I
said
wish I
fake
could remember the
titties?
name of it. I'm playing a guy who wakes up at a music festival, kind of a Burning Man,
Yeah.
and he's the only thing that he has with him is a backpack full of drugs and a G-string and rubber breasts. So
You had to do some method acting for this one. You really had to get into the
Well, I
part.
said you guys can bring your own tits, but I got a set that fits better, and you can still feel the heartbeat in her skin.
Oh wow.
La 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 la. Yeah, no, I'm gonna do some more stuff. I'm gonna
And
do some more
The
stuff.
premise is that you have to find your way home with only those items.
I don't want to spoil too
Okay.
much, but I run into a group of kids who turn out to be vampires,
Oh, that's cool.
and I end up getting in their minivan with them, and through various, I'm taking all these drugs, and they're giving me a lift, and some crazy stuff happens.
Oh, that's sweet. And then where'd you film that?
We're filming it in Wisconsin in July.
Oh,
I haven't filmed it
nice.
yet.
Oh, you haven't filmed it yet?
No, I got like 10 days in Wisconsin at the end of July. So I'll be in Europe for June, and then I'll come back here, Canada Day show, spend all of July, or most of July, and then go to Wisconsin. And then in August, I'm not sure. But September is going to be a big, we're trying to, as I was saying earlier about these, just on the way here, which is mind numbing, the amount of people that are backing out or are afraid to have comedy in Canada. And with all the bullshit that's going on, and it has been going on for quite a while, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
The improv people are out to get everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always been that way, though. You know, it's like the snowboarders and the skiers, but it's crap.
Well, how have you not been canceled? Like, how are you like still like everyone like
Because
liking you
I
and, like,
don't go out. I don't have any like. They know that I have no loyalty to any groups or sports teams, religious factions.
you like the Thai cats?
I don't.
You don't like the Thai cats?
I don't listen. I don't do any of that shit. I went to a game recently, just for nostalgia purposes. I was homesick enough to go. My high school was right across the street from the Cat Stadium there for years, and it was not what the kids I hung out with did. We weren't into sports. It
So
was.
you just haven't had to, but with it, when it comes to comedy, you just haven't had to.
I went
You haven't
in.
been canceled because you've just kind of.
I showed
Never-
up canceled.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Maybe
know what
that's
I
the
mean?
key
I was
is,
like,
right? Show up,
I looked at the
cancel.
playing field and I was like, there's no villains.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
At least with
true.
my friends that are being attacked in Canada for things that they've said and done,
Shout
it's
out Danger Cats.
because they made reference to subject matter and ideas that are hot topics in Canada. So they've got a lot of unwanted attention. But until I make an extravagant amount of money where people would look at that as more of a something that they could hurt me or take away from me, I went into it. I fired everybody before they showed up for work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want my fans to be, there's no gray area with them. In fact, they come to see the naysayers who've stumbled into the shows
Yeah, that's
get
just
their
as
just
fun.
desserts. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's like I said,
Right.
the first time you see the show, the second time you see the audience, and the third time, that's your fucking problem. You weirdo. Yeah.
Well, we'll put all of your socials in the description here.
Yeah.
Follow on Instagram, and you have links to all of your stuff.
Oh my shit!
Yeah.
You just Google Jason Rouse 666, and it all comes up. But yeah, everything. I have my own podcast that I've been doing for over 10 years now called The Safe Word,
Yeah.
and
Audrey's been on it.
yeah, Audrey's been on. She was
Shut up, Audrey Scott.
a early guest. She was an early
Audrey
guest.
Scott.
When she told me that you guys were all working together, I was like, "That's perfect. It's good."
Yeah.
There's
It's
so
been
many
great.
losers and scumbags in this city that sometimes birds of feather flock together, but the chicken coop's full of shit.
Well, I said, like it was just like you were one of the first, like when I, as a teenager, wanting to get into comedy, and I see that, I'm like, that is a great special.
Yeah, it
And
was
just,
fun
like,
though.
inspirational.
I had a very joy about what I was doing. There was a lot of like running with no arms. I was fueled on the idea of failing and as much Jim Carrey as I could muster.
Well, and also like I saw you, like then I moved to Vancouver and I saw you at Yuck Yucks, and like, oh, this isn't comedy now. This is like, this guy's on another level. So it's just like, then I'm like, oh wow, like he's not. Like people see you and think it's just like unhinged and not planned. It's like, no, this guy's
No,
meticulous.
there's so much
That's why I
planning.
asked you. That's
Yeah.
why like, I asked you. I'm like,
No.
oh wow,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
those are just like so like it hit much more that special because of like how
You thought
you are.
at a glance it looks like I'm just pulling rabbits out of my ass, but I
No.
think you've been around enough, me and the business enough to know like, oh fuck, he's been planning this execution for months, years in
you
some
got it
cases.
when
So
you-
Well, even saying like you're putting in the final draft, 4.5 years in. Not only that, but then you're doing a special. But not only that, 4.5 years in, you have to just do crowd work before your special actually starts.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know anyone that's doing that now 4.5
try
years in.
growing up in Hamilton.
It's just like that is. Just,
It was like blind faith in a lot of cases, you know, that preparation plus time equals opportunity is I made sure because I had no, once I started doing comedy, everything that would been in my life up until that point fell off. Like I was sitting in the comedy club 3 or 4 nights a week when people were going to party more or less. But I did that double time. But that's what
paid
you're
off.
supposed to do. I see what's going when you know, again, I go back to Jim Carrey. The amount of, you know, you watch the documentary on Man on the Moon, and see what kind of commitment you got to do to be really true great. If I can apply some of that, and again, I watched Jim's A&E biography. I watched 300 times, and it all came down to just doing it and
Well,
taking
that was
risks.
your great advice to us too, is just to be in the way, and we really appreciate
Yeah.
it. And you gave us a nice opportunity when we first got here too. It was really exciting, and yeah, it's just been awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks so
you're an
much
amazing
for
guy.
coming on.
You guys are
our
amazing. I'm
podcast
glad you're
and-
here. You're such a breath of fresh air.
Well, I don't mean to be a spoiler alert, but Jason Rouse is a great guy. So it's just I don't know
Yeah,
if that
I
was,
never claimed. I have just some
He's,
people have made very, but I'm vicious to people I don't like. You know,
Well,
so
you've been super nice to us.
Yeah.
yeah, I like you guys.
Yeah.
I like Audrey.
Appreciate it.
clip it.
But you know, I'm a real mean bastard at times too, around people I don't like. Yeah,
You
that's
went
why I don't go
somewhere.
by.
You thought of someone.
Oh, I thought a bunch of people. I had bile in my mouth.
Well, we'll link everything
Yeah.
below. Thanks so
Yeah,
much
thank
for
you.
coming
Thanks,
on.
Jason. That was
Thanks
awesome.
for having me on
Awesome.
Hump Day. I like it.
Thank you. Cheers.